Hello, lovely one. I welcome you to my YouTube channel once again. I trust you are doing well by God's grace. Today is a new day, and a day comes with possibilities and challenges. A day poses threats and also possibilities. So it is up for you to work things around and change the fortunes, okay, or change certain things in your life. If you work hard, it means your future is gonna be bright. If you fail to work hard or if you fail to plan for your life is going to be miserable. Life without mystery is full of misery. So if you don't work hard, since you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you need to always work hard. Since you don't know the questions that the lecturers are going to give to you, you need to work hard. I always say this: your lecturers don't trust you. They don't trust any student. Don't think the lecturers they know you or they know the contributions you'll be making in class. Every lecturer see every student as what? Someone who knows nothing. Because if you know something, you won't go and sit in their class for them to teach you. So it is up to you to actually work things around to convince him. And that is why you need to learn hard and prove him wrong. The lecturer sees everybody as a someone who knows nothing, like I already said. So um actually they see every student as what, anyone that is what likely to get F. But your writings and your hard work will determine whether you deserve E or you deserve B or even that F that they think it is for you. So before we start today's class, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be coming with more videos. Today I'll be taking you through the essay writing. That is session 4. We are done with session 3. So if you haven't watched the session 3, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the videos I've recorded all the videos from session 1, 2, 3, and then this is session 4. So 5, 6, 7, 8 will follow very soon. So by tomorrow, all the videos I'll release all of them so you can prepare well, because the days are fast spent. You don't have enough time on your side. Yes, you'll be writing your exams very soon, and it is always good to know some of these things before you start your exam. So in session 3, we learned more about the component of paragraphing. Okay, so you know more about the supporting sentence, the topic sentence, and then the concluding paragraph, or the topic sentence, the supporting sentence, which is what under the supporting sentence you have major and minor supporting sentence. I explained all those ones in session 3, so I won't go over them again. And then I also explain that's session. I also explain the concluding sentences, and then we also look at the principle of paragraph, in which we throw more light on the paragraph unity, coherence, and then completeness. Today is another day, and we need to also do something different. So we are starting from session 4, which is what? Essay writing. If you want to convince your lecturers, you need to write and write well. That's why we say students in university are in what? An academic discourse community. And in every academic discourse community, writings we usually what? Write. So you need to write and write well. You don't need to write as if you are in GHS or SHS. In university, they expect more from you. It's not only related to academic writing, but those of you doing social science courses, you'll be writing a lot of essays, 10 papers, and what have you, project work. And this is the foundation. If you miss this one, it will affect you. That's why they made the UGRC110 and the 220 compulsory courses as what universities required courses, whether you are doing dondology or languages, you still need to learn academic writing. So academic essay begins with what? An introduction, and ends with what? A concluding paragraph. So in every academic essay, your essay should begin with what? Introduction, and also end with what? A conclusion. So I asked myself this question. So why do you think people always write introduction? Now we are coming to look at the introduction. We are coming to look at what? The introduction. Why do people normally write introduction? Why do people normally write introduction? So you need to understand some of these things. You need to learn some of these things before if you know why people write introduction, then you will take your time and write well. You won't just end up writing anything just like that, but you will take your time and write well. That is the whole thing. So the reason why we write introduction is to capture attention of the reader or the lecturer. So if you are writing introduction, you are not just writing introduction because you feel like writing introduction, but your idea, your purpose behind every introduction should be what? Should be persuasion, or try to persuade somebody, or try to convince someone, or try to impress someone. So that is one reason why we write introduction. So if your introduction doesn't convince people, then forget about it. You won't get a lot of marks in your essay. Most of the lecturers, let me give you this secret, in this university, most of the lecturers, they don't have time to read all your essays. I'm telling you the fact. They read your introduction. So if you write good introduction, it's very easy for you to get good marks. Because if written about 4 pages, you have about your batch, you're about 3,000 students. Everybody is going to write the same essay. Do you think they have that time to read your essays? They don't have that time to spend 10 minutes in reading your essays. But when they read your introduction, some of the words, and they know that how you've structured your introduction, the things you brought in your introduction, they at the end of the day, they come to the realization that no, this person knows what he is doing. So they don't even bother reading everything. They can just look at the point in the developmental paragraph, which is what the body, and then they read your conclusion. Where they focus more is what? The introduction. That only for the introduction, they read it no matter what. And then the conclusion, they're likely to read it. But the developmental paragraph or the body, some of them glance through it. Either they skim it or they scan your body. That is what they do. I know you know skimming and scan. If you don't understand, just under the videos I've recorded, just read, just listen to watch the session 2, the video uploaded on session 2. I've explained all of them there, so you understand it. So the idea is to capture the attention of the reader or the listener. And also, reason why we write introduction is to indicate a piece of what? A piece of writing. What the piece of writing is about. So if you are writing introduction, your idea is to also tell the reader why you are writing the essay. So it should all be in your introduction. You should communicate the idea or the reason why you are writing the essay in your introduction. So some of the reasons why we write it is this: to indicate what a piece of writing is about. And also we write introduction to actually provide information that will help the reader to understand what the essay discusses. So you provide information to also to help your reader understand what the essay discusses. So that's where you give those important information in it. So that is why we normally write introduction. So now let's look at the introduction. Now this is the main topic we will be focusing on now for the introduction. As I said, your introduction you should take your time and write your introduction. But there are so many ways you can write introduction. There are so many ways you can write introduction. So that is what you are coming to do. So in writing introduction, every introduction has two parts. Okay, every introduction, it has two parts. So we have the background and then the thesis statement. So if you are writing introduction, you must have two parts: the background information and then the thesis statement. That is one thing you should take note of. Every introduction that you write, there should be a background, and there's a way you can write your background. There's a way you can write your thesis statement. So I'll teach you all. That's why I'm here. So I'm here to let you understand this concept very well. Now let's look at the background. When you talk of background, what is a background? When you say a background, it's information that you provide to convince your readers or to communicate your ideas to your readers or your listeners. So background is very, very important in introduction writing. If you are writing introduction or in every essay writing, a background is very, very good. It forms part of the introduction. So you can write a background by using anecdote. Okay, so this is where you provide a brief information or a brief story that you use make a large point. You provide a brief story to make a large point. So as I said, we can write introduction by using the anecdote, quotation, and then statistics method. So I'm coming to teach you all these things. I'm coming to take you through all these things for you to understand them better. So now, when you talk of anecdote in academic writing, it's a short and often personal story or example that is used to illustrate a point. Okay, so it's normally a short personal story or example that is used to illustrate a point or make a concept more relatable or engage the reader. While anecdote can add human elements in the writing, it is important to use them judiciously and ensure they are relevant to the topic and contribute to the overall argument or analysis. So as I said, when you are writing an anecdote or as a background, you use it's often a short story, okay, and it can be about human life story or something in a short way. You don't write full book and just assume that it's a background. A background, you are just giving a background, just some few information. So it's either you use some human personal story or some kind of story that you think you can bring in your introduction that will make it more relatable to the topic that you're writing. See, most often there are some people, when you ask people to give you or talk about certain topics, especially in the churches, some of the pastors, if they want to preach, before they preach, you see them, they will read a scripture about someone's life. Okay, they can take a story of Lazarus. So a pastor will tell you that, Lazarus died for 4 days. He was more closer to Jesus Christ. They went to call Lazarus. They went to call Jesus Christ. Even when Lazarus was sick, Jesus didn't mind them. Jesus didn't go there until he died. When he died, he didn't go there immediately. He waited for 4 days. He has given you a background information. Now he is coming to break this background information into pieces. Okay? So the pastor will go ahead to tell you that Lazarus died. Jesus saw the struggle that Lazarus was going through, but Jesus didn't really mind. But it wasn't like he neglected him, but he was waiting for the situation to get well, so that when he comes in, all glory will be given to him. And that topic alone, he will use it to preach and relate it to your life. That sometimes things are really happening in your life. You think God has forsaken you, but it is not like that. Because what? He has seen it, but he wants to come in so that you don't give glory to man or your hard work. You give all the glory to him. And the pastor can also go ahead to say, you see, but this small background that he gave about Lazarus, he's breaking it into pieces to relate it more to your life. Do you get it? And you can say that when Jesus came there, he asked those people that put the tomb on, or that put that stone in his tomb to remove the stone. So the pastor would just stand and say that anyone that has put in any form of impediment in your life, those that brought that sickness, they should take their sickness. You get it? And he will be breaking it, and you'll be breaking it, and you will see hallelujah, hallelujah. That is what an anecdote. He has given you a background story, and that background story, he's relating it to your personal life. That is the anecdote. Now let's look at another way we can write introduction. Aside using human experience or personal experience to write about a background, we can have what? We can write a background by using a quotation. When you talk of a quotation is what? A verbatim or word for word reproduction of what? Someone else's word. Okay? Taken from a source such as book, article, interview, or speech. Quotations are used to provide evidence, support argument, or highlight a particular point in your essay. When including quotations, it is important to cite the source and ensure that the quoted material is seamlessly integrated into your own writing. Certainly, okay, so that is all about quotation. So when you talk about quotation, you have read some book. They ask you to write about corruption. You've read some book, and the book also talks about certain idea or certain experience. You feel like quoting that thing from the book to your essay to make it more relatable or more nice. So this is where you quote everything verbatim, dito, okay? So you copy everything from it and then you quote it. You get it? So that's why I said that it is important to cite the source. So when you okay, after you quote it, you bring Professor Jampo 2002. You get it? So anyone that reads that quotation knows that it was written by Professor Jampo. Then after you are done, you come and relate it. So quotation, we normally do that. Sometimes some of the books you when you are reading, you see Kofi 2009. You see they are quoting. Amma 2015. According to this, he said this. That is what? Quotation. He has quoted the person's word. So you can write introduction by using this method. And let me give you an example. So here, certainly, here is an example of quotation used in the background paragraph. So according to John Smith, a leading historian in the field, in the Industrial Revolution marked a significant turning point in human history, characterized by rapid transition from agrarian economy to industrialized society. This period, which began in the 18th century, brought about profound changes in manufacturing, technology, and social structures. Smith's assessment highlights the pivotal role that the Industrial Revolution played in shaping the modern world and serves as foundation for understanding its far-reaching impact on economies and societies. In the example, the quotation from John Smith's work. Okay, so right now this is the quotation. You see, so he has quoted it. If you look at it well, you see that the person has quoted John Smith's work. Okay, has quoted everything. So in the example, the quotation from John Smith's work provides authoritative support for the background information being discussed in the paragraph, which is about the significance of what? Industrial Revolution. The quotation helps to add credibility to information being presented. So the quotation that he gave, it helps to what? Add credibility to the information that is being what? Presented. So he has quoted everything verbatim, dito from John Smith's work, and that is it. So with this one, after this, he can give a thesis statement, and it is a complete introduction. That is it. The last point I want to discuss with you under the background is what? You using statistics. Statistics. Anytime I write introduction, I prefer using the statistics. The statistics are easiest way. They are the easiest way you can write your background information, or you can use to write your introduction. So in academic writing, statistics refers to what? Numerical data and information that are used to provide quantitative evidence and support for argument, claims, or research findings. Statistics can come from various sources such as surveys, experiments, studies, or official reports. They are used to enhance the credibility of writing by offering concrete evidence to back up your statement and help readers better understand the scope and impact of the topic being discussed. When using statistics, it is important to properly cite the source and provide the context to ensure their accurate interpretation. So when you talk of statistics, it's when you use numerical data. Okay, 72% of Ghanaians are hospitable. 89%, according to the population census, 89% of Ghanaians are unemployed. 10% of the unemployed are within the age of 18 years to 35 years, and then the vast majority. So you get it, all these things. So whenever you read introductions that incorporate a numerical data, it is about statistics, using figures. Okay, it refers to numerical data and information that is used to provide quantitative evidence. So when you use those figures, it is easy to convince people. Right now, when they ask you to come and talk about corruption in Ghana, and you come out and you say, according to Ghana Integrity Initiative, that is GII, 92% of Ghanaian officials are corrupt. So with this data alone that you've provided, if you go further to talk in favor of the motion by saying that Ghanaian officials are corrupt, everybody will believe you because of the data you are giving. So mostly we use statistics in convincing people, because you're looking at the number. Okay, we say that 1% of University of Ghana population have they have HIV/AIDS with this percentage, and you go and say that all University of Ghana students are HIV positive. It will be very difficult for people to believe it, because we are talking about 1% here. So it will be very difficult for people to believe it. So statistics normally helps you in arguing better. And so mostly when you are doing argument, it is better to use the statistics. Let me give you an example. Certainly, here is an example of how statistics can be used in academic writing. So now let me give you the example. The example says that recent demographic data reveals a significant trend in urbanization. According to the United Nations World Urbanization Prospect Report of 2021, the global urban population is projected to reach 68% by the year 2050, a substantial increase from the current 55%. Okay, so this data underscores the ongoing shift towards urban living and highlight the need for sustainable urban planning to accommodate this rapid growth. So in the example, The statistics from the United Nations report provide what numerical evidence of the trend of what urbanization. The data serves to support the argument about the increasing urbanization population. About the increasing urban population and its implication for urban planning. So now, with this one, after I'm giving you an activity, so you write a background by using any of these methods. So I think you can do it. Either you use a quotation, anecdote, and statistics. So now we know how to write a background. So if you are given essay, you don't go and beat around the bush. Okay, you use any of the methods you write. Now the last part of introduction is what? Thesis statement. When you talk of thesis statement, the thesis statement announces the central idea of an essay. The central idea of an essay. It announces, mostly whenever there is a program, especially in churches. There's always someone that has the power to announce whoever is going to be the chair or the preacher or the speaker. Do you get it? There's someone that announces that person. So when you have to relate this one to an essay, the person that announces or introduces the speaker, the chair, or whosoever the person is, the guest and whatever, is what? Is the thesis statement. So now let's look at the thesis statement as I said. So it announces the central idea of an essay. It is derived from the topic of the essay. Okay, it is derived from the topic of an essay. It occurs in an introductory paragraph, and also it needs to be what? Carefully worded, and then it should neither be too broad nor too narrow. It should also be precise and concise. So as I said, a thesis statement occurs in the introductory paragraph. So your thesis statement should always be at the end of your introductory paragraph. Okay, so after you are done giving your background information, the next step you are to go is what? To introduce your thesis statement. So with the examples I gave, let me go back to the examples I gave. I gave you an example of what? I gave you example of the urbanization. Okay, how urbanization is going to increase by the year 2050. Do you get it? So with this one, it is the introductory paragraph. So if I go on to say that here are 4 factors of that are likely to increase urbanization in 2050, it is the thesis statement, because it has introduced the controlling idea or the ideas that you'll be writing about. So after reading that, here are 5 measures, or here are 5 ways we can actually adopt to increase urbanization in 2050. It becomes what? The thesis statement, because you know that from here you are going to talk about 5 things. You know, it has summarized the whole thing, that there's going to be 5 ideas you are going to talk about. If I say suggest measures to ensure free and fair election in Ghana. If I say suggest measures to ensure free and fair election in Ghana, and you write about elections in Ghana, use some either statistics, quotation, or anecdote. You use that one to write your background, and after the background, you go and say that here are 5 measures. Here are 5 measures to ensure free and fair election. 1, independent judiciary. 2, independent electoral commissioner. So those things that you will be talking about in your in your developmental paragraph. When I say your developmental paragraph, that is the points you'll be developing in your body. That is a developmental paragraph. So when I say 5 measures, so you know that it is going to talk. The essay is going to talk about 5 things. That's why we say it is the thesis statement. So it will occur in the introductory paragraph, and you need to be carefully worded. Okay, you need to word it well, and it should be what? It shouldn't be too broad or too narrow. And they say it shouldn't be too broad. It means you shouldn't okay, let me take the too narrow first. If you say it shouldn't be too narrow, means you don't leave some of the ideas inside. Okay, and if it shouldn't be too broad too, you don't cover things that are not supposed to be there. And you don't cover things that are not supposed to be there. So you carefully word it, and then should be precise and concise. That is all about what? The introduction. Now, what influences our background? So if you are writing a background, these are some of the things you should do. First is what? Your audience. When you say your audience, the people you are going to write to, the people that you are going to write to, are they? You look at their agenda. If you are writing a background, these are some of the things you should look at. The people you are going to write to, the gender, are they males or female? If they are males, you should write things. If they are males and you are going to talk about female reproductive system, it may not be relevant to them. If you're a speaker and they ask you to come and talk to ladies, and you go and talk about male reproductive system, it's not of interest to them. So you look at the gender, the audience, the people you are going to talk to, their gender, are they males or females alone? Their professional background, are they educated or uneducated? If they are educated, you have to prepare well and face them. If they are not uneducated too, you don't go and speak jargons there to confuse them. You also look at their age. Are they old or young? If they are young, that one you can be using some of the words. If they are old people you are going to talk about, you should treat them with respect. And then their nationality, are they Ghanaians? If they are Ghanaians, it's likely that some may understand Chi or Eve, or I can say some of Fanti or some of these our local dialect. It's easy for them to understand it. But if they are foreigners, you look at the language you use, and then the level of education. The people's level of education determine their level of thinking. Someone's level of education determines his level of thinking. Me, as I'm here, if you are talking to me and you are lying, I easily catch you. Okay? I'll easily catch you. Because any word that you say, I pay attention to it. If you are lying to me, I know. If you are not lying to me, I know. So, I've really learned. I know I can't say I'm perfect. I'm lacking certain things. Just a bachelor degree. The same way, if I'm dealing with someone who is a professor, a person see himself far. If right now, if I'm dealing with a diploma student, it's easy. It's easy to convince the person easily, because what I've learned, he hasn't learned the same thing. You get it? Academically, if you are to use that kind of the way out, it's easy for me to persuade the person. But if I'm dealing with someone of my age, it is very difficult for me. I can persuade the person, but we've all learned the same thing. So the things you are bringing, these deductive and inductive reasonings and the enumerations, everything, some of these things you'll be bringing on board, I've already learned them. You have also learned them. So it will be very difficult. So the person's level of education determines his level of thinking. And then the second thing that influences our background is what? The message you are going to you've been given. If you are given a topic, you need to know. If they say explain, you should know how to write an essay that explains certain things. You don't go and list them. So you should know what the message is about. Are they saying you should come and explain? Are they saying you should come and persuade? Or are you going there to persuade when to persuade people, like I told you, when you are using statistics in your background, it is easy to persuade. So with the data that you give, you can easily persuade them. But if you are giving the task to inform, you can use quotation. Okay, this person said this. This person, oh, do you get it? That is how it is. And if you are there to also explain, there's a way you go about it. You know all these things, and then it will guide you. So how long should introduction be? It is what? No clear. Okay, it has no length. Introduction, it has what? But it must not be too long. If it is too long, it will be boring, and it must get to a point. It must be clear, and averagely the length should be what? 100 words. 100 words. So that is what? The introduction. If you are writing introduction, the introduction should cover 10 to 15% of your essay. The conclusion should also cover 10 to 15%, and then the body should cover 60 to 80%. So that is how the structure should be. Now let's look at. Now we are done with the introduction. We are done with session 4. Okay. So we are done with session 4. We are coming to look at. There's something we need to. So the introductory paragraph. So if they ask you, okay, I've given you some of these things. Okay, so now it has left with the other aspects. So I said a paragraph, introduction we have the body, so we have the introduction and then the concluding paragraph. So now let's look at the concluding paragraph, then we bring it to an end. So concluding paragraph is the last paragraph of an essay, okay? So after you are done with your introduction, for the body, you know what to write about, but you need to also write your concluding paragraph, and it should be the last paragraph of an essay. It reminds the reader of the central idea. There should be a sense of closure, and it should never be any new idea in concluding paragraph. Okay. So in writing a concluding paragraph, you need to first summarize your argument and the main themes. So as I said, if you are writing a concluding paragraph, if you are talking about how to ensure peaceful election in Ghana, I stated about independent judiciary and then independent electoral commissioner, and then let's take transparent ballot boxes. These are the 3 ideas you discuss in your essay. If you go and talk about vigilante, abolishment or disbandment of vigilante group, into conclusion, it becomes it doesn't make sense because you didn't talk about it in a paragraph, in your developmental paragraph or in your essay. So things that you've not spoken about in your essay, you don't talk about it in the conclusion. Conclusion is giving it a sense of closure. Whatever that you discuss, you give some sense of closure. So these points that you stated, okay, first of all, you explain about elections, okay, how to ensure free and fair elections. So you conclude that aspect, and then you give the points that you stated, and then after that, you either make a suggestion, okay. So you either make a suggestion that, okay, you suggest that if Ghana use this method or Ghana embrace these strategies, it is easy to have free and fair elections. You have given a suggestion. You can give an advice too in your conclusion. After you are done stating all the points, everything, you can give an opinion or advice, okay, and that is how a conclusion is. So in your last sentence, sum up your argument, very brief, by linking it to the outline. So that is all about this. And then concluding paragraphs, as I said, so you have to sum up your main points of the discussion and provide a final thought recall your thesis statement. When you say the thesis statement, that is the ideas you spoke about in your essay. That is three measures to ensure free and fair election. And that three measures you are need to what? Recall you call it. So it's not the same words as in the introduction, okay? Not the same way, but you need to recall it. And then also offer an advice, suggestion, recommendation, or call for an action. That is after you are done with recalling your thesis statement. That is what you should do. You can make a prediction, or you can ask a provocative question, or use an appropriate quotation. So that is all about it. So let me give you an example. That is a concluding paragraph. Stereotypes such as helpless homemaker, hurried executive, and doty grandmother are insulting enough to begin with. In magazine, ads or television commercial, they become even more insulting. Now, these unfortunate characters are not just being laughed at; they are being turned into hackers to sell products to understanding public. Customers should boycott companies whose advertising continue to use such stereotypes. So you see, he has given what an opinion or a suggestion that customers should what boycott companies who use advertise whose what advertising continue to use what stereotypes. So the person has what call for an action. That is the method the person used. So we are done with session 4. God bless you for watching my videos. The next video is session 5. I'm going to release a video of session 5 and session 6. So kindly share it, and if you have not subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel. God bless you very much.